Hello, my love. Today we are going to talk about the Wild Unknown Archetypes Oracle by Kris Krans, the Standard Edition and the Pocket Edition. I'm going to compare these two babies here. I'm going to share with you how I work with them personally and professionally. I'm going to tell you which one is my favorite, and expect that by the end of this video you are going to be able to choose which one would make sense for you, which one you would like to add to your collection, or if you already have one of them or both, maybe you're going to feel inspired to use them more often, right? So let's start by thinking about archetypes. So archetypes are extremely important for me, right? My personally and professionally, I work with them a lot. And archetypes, they are like universal patterns or energies that we share as human beings. So it is something that we share as a collective, but it's something that we have as well inside of each one of us. So it's something that we experience on a personal level as well. So when we look at this, for example, the Queen, you already have an idea of what a queen is, right? And we share collectively an idea of what a queen is. And you have inside of you an experience when you think about a queen. You have something that you feel that nobody else can understand or can grasp exactly what you feel, because it's a personal experience, something that we have inside of ourselves. So these archetypes, they are going to help us to find meaning, to name things in our lives, to name experiences, to recognize universal patterns in our own story, because it is something that we share, as I told you, as a species, right? As human beings, actually, we share that idea. So when you look at a cave or the ocean, you feel something. And it's so interesting how we can give meaning to our experiences and the moments that we are living by working with archetypes. And how it is interesting when we look at an archetype, we understand what that means for us. How we can awaken that same energy inside of us as well, that same quality, right? Now, that being said, of course, I have a few decks about archetypes that I like, and I have them in my collection. But I must tell you that at least, I don't know, for a while now, this one has been my favorite one, the one that I connect the most, and the one that I use every single day. I use these decks in a different way, and I use one of them much more than the other one. I'm going to tell you about that. But let's talk a little bit about the differences. So this deck here, the Standard Edition, came first, and then the Pocket Edition came later. I had the Pocket Edition first, and then I decided to buy the larger one. So let's start by talking about, I don't know, the technical part of the deck. We can call it that. So the standard deck comes in this box. We have, let me see, like a sleeve here. It is a little challenging sometimes to remove. So there's a sleeve and there's this box here. You can use this box for other things. So like it's a beautiful box, sturdy, you can use for something else. And then the deck will come here. Let's see, accept all, reject none. And then the deck came here inside this little box that I really don't use, because I don't use this one because it is, I don't know, I was feeling like it was going to start spoiling, so I don't use it. Look at this. This is the box, and it comes with this guidebook. I don't know if you already heard about this guidebook, but it is gorgeous. It is beautiful. I love this guidebook. I love this guidebook. So I already read this book. It is, in the beginning, of course, I love the way she writes. I simply love the way she writes. So in the beginning, she's going to share her story, her personal story, let's say like that, a personal experience she was going through. Then she decided to take post-graduation, and then she started having contact with archetypes. That's how this beautiful deck was born. Now, let me check here. How many cards do you have in this deck? 78 cards. So of course, you're not going to have all archetypes here. It's virtually impossible, actually. But I think she did a very nice selection here. So we are going to have the selves, the places, the tools, the initiations, and that's it. Each card here is going to have a black and white reproduction of the card, and then you have this beautiful text. It's so short, but it's so spot on. And then we are going to have some keywords, when light, when dark. So she talks about the light aspects and the dark aspects of those archetypes, each one of them. It's a beautiful guidebook, okay? So only for the guidebook, I think this deck worth it. I think it's worth it buying this deck just for the guidebook. I love this guidebook. And then we are going to have the cards. Now, this is the back of the card, and I don't know. I don't understand very well. I don't like it. Okay, I understand that I think it was supposed to be a diamond, but it's pixelated. I think, let me see if you can really focus. I think, guys, I think there was some way to make it in a better way. So it's not my favorite back. I would like to see another back here, but I got used to that already because I use it so much. The cardstock's matte, very nice cardstock, buttery, a great cardstock. But it is large and it's rounded. So it is not easy to shuffle. It's chunky, right? It sticks together a little bit. And it is pretty large for a spread. It is interesting because we can see the images better here because it's larger. But I think that the size and the shape is a limitation, so I don't use this deck often. I like to use this deck when I'm working with a specific archetype. So for example, I'm going to work with the ocean. I like to have this in the center and then create a spread around it, or just look at this image or work with the archetype depending on the way I'm going to work. Meditation, visualization, journaling. I love this deck for that. So I end up using this deck more in my personal practice, and not that often as well. So only when I really want to work with that archetype, or the archetypes, the main idea, I want to create a spread around it, so I go ahead and I use this deck. It was not an artwork that I used to like, but I'm going to tell you, it totally grew on me. Nowadays, I really enjoy this deck. I love this deck. I think I can tell you that it is in my top 5 Oracle decks of all time, for sure. So this is the larger edition. Buttery, great cardstock, great images, easy to see, but hard to shuffle, to handle, and a little too big for a spread, in my personal experience. Now, we have the Pocket Edition. Pocket Edition comes in this beautiful tin. It is super resistant, unlike the Wild Unknown Tarot tin, that I have the tin for that one, and I don't know if it's Spirit Animal, the name of her deck. I have a tin as well. The tin is not strong. It's all dented. But look this one. It's perfect. It's new. And I have this deck for a while now. So inside this little tin, we are going to have this teeny tiny guidebook. It's beautiful. Sorry guys, a little dry here. It is a baby. A baby. A baby guidebook. And the full content of this book, this guidebook, is here. Believe it or not. So, of course, look, it's very small, really tiny. Some people report that they have a hard time reading this. So let's say if you have a hard time, if you need, well, I would say that if you need reading glasses, but if you have reading glasses, you may not have that many problems. I don't have problems reading this one. Here it's a little smaller than I would like, but this guidebook's fine. This guidebook's good. Now, this is the deck. I edged it in black. It doesn't come like this, it comes white. Same back as the larger edition. And I'm going to compare the sizes here for you. Look. This is the difference in the size between these two. And thinking about a US Games tarot deck, this is the difference with the small, and this is the difference with the large one. Okay? So just for you to have an idea. Now, this one here is matte as well, but thinner. The cardstock's thinner than this one here. Because I don't know what you think about it, but in my experience, when the deck is smaller, like pocket edition, if you have such a, I don't know, thick cardstock, it's not going to be a good experience. So it is thinner, more flexible, and it will probably fall. Let's see, because I don't shuffle like this. Look, I usually shuffle my cards down here. Look, it's super fine, and I use this deck so often that, oh, I love it. Look, it's beautiful to shuffle. Okay, and this deck's the one that I use every day. I use this deck in every session, to decide, to define, to understand the archetype that is activated, that is active in my client's life at that moment in time, or in that issue, any specific issue that they bring to work with me in the spiritual mentoring. And you can work with the spreads with this deck. I do that as well. It's nice, great experience. And I love this deck to clarify tarot. This is beautiful. Of course, the size is perfect and it clarifies tarot in a beautiful way. Now, I want to tell you why, if I already had the pocket edition, that is the one that I use the most, why did I buy then? Why did I decide to buy the standard edition? Because of this. I decided to buy just because of the book. That was the only reason. It was not because I wanted a larger deck, nothing like that, just because of the book. Nowadays, would I do that? No, I would stick only with this small one, you know, because I wanted to have something larger. But in the end of the day, I read this book like once or twice, and I don't use this book that often anymore. So I would just stick with the standard edition for me. Now, if it's too hard for me to read it, for you to read it, maybe it's not interesting, because this guidebook is an important part of this deck. I wouldn't say like, oh, it is a deck, just stick with the cards and I don't care about the book. That's not true. It feels like this book is 50-50 in this case. So I would recommend you to see which one you can read in order to decide. But at the same time, you have to think about handling the deck, because I don't think that my hand is small. I would say my hand is a medium hand for a woman, and it's almost falling. it is a little uncomfortable for me. So I use it only in specific case. I can't use this for in professional sessions because it will take too long. And it's chunky, as I told, it's very difficult to shuffle. I already tried to break this deck a little bit, but it's still a little hard for me. So when it comes to the deck, the pocket's much better for me, but the bigger version has the book. So you're going to think. And if you work personally only, maybe you're not going to have problems having the larger one, right? Maybe it's going to be okay. Now I'd like to give you a little demonstration about how this deck works, right? So let's think you come here and you wanna talk to me about your self-confidence, how to increase, how to improve your self-confidence for decisions that you have to take in your life at this moment in time. Okay, let's think about that. Improving our self-confidence in decisions that we have to take in life at this moment in time. So we have here the Queen of Cups, the Ten of Wands, and the Two of Wands. How can I improve my self-confidence for decisions that I have to take right now in my life? I'll tell you, first of all, look inside yourself. How are you actually nourishing your emotions? How exactly? Are you spending your whole day looking at social media? Maybe that's not nourishing our emotional. So we are in a moment in time as a collective that we have to take care of our emotional, guys. All of us, we have to be very caring of our emotional life, our feelings, because there's so much going on out there, so much going out there. So we must be gatekeepers actually of everything that gets inside of us, everything that is going to activate, everything that is going to trigger our emotions. So that's something very important. And I would say that we are feeling overwhelmed. We are feeling like there's too much going on out there. There's too much for us to handle now. And what can be a solution for that? Planning and looking, focusing on our own world. Sometimes we think about, oh, what's going on in the world? How to fix the world? And we are not even being able to fix, to work, to improve, to do what must be done in our own world. And I would say that is one of the main problems that we are living nowadays. And we are all being affected for that, right? So let's say I want to understand a little bit more about these overwhelming feelings, okay, when it comes to our questions. So here, let's clarify. We have here the seed. The seed. So these overwhelming feelings, I would say that we have two point of views here. First of all, let's think, what is the seed of this feeling of being overwhelmed? What is not being nice for me? What is not nourishing me? What is not allowing me to look into my own world and do what I must do in my own world first, so that I can go out there and do something? And another way we can think about is as well, what kind of seeds am I proactively planting in my life? Am I just sitting around and allowing seeds to be planted for me? Or am I being active, taking the lead seat of the driver's seat of my life and deciding which seeds I want to plant? Seeds actually, they're extremely important in Kabbalah. So there's a Kabbalistic wisdom that says, wise is the one that is able to see the tree in the seed. So it's not helpful, like go out there and plant castor bean trees and expect to receive strawberries. It's not going to happen. So it's important to understand. Of course, you always can have changing plans, something can change in the middle of the way. But being more conscious about the seeds that we are planting in our lives. And of course, in the beginning of the session, I go ahead and I draw a card to understand the archetype that is active in that person's life now. So we have here the Lover. I connect this as well with the tarot, the Lover. So for me, the Lover is not only about romantic life or love itself, but it's about choices as well, right? It is about activating as that energy of love inside of you towards yourself, towards others, and making choices, conscious choices in your life. And then, of course, if the person brought to the session something about romantic relationship, yes, we are going to talk about this archetype as a romantic thing. But if the person brought to me some other subject, like for example, professional life, we are going to use it in a different way. Does it make sense? And something that I would like to suggest for you as well is create your own guidebook. It is important to use this guidebook. I love this guidebook. I would say that you should give it a try and read this guidebook, study this guidebook. But allow yourself to go through all these cards and take notes about what is the Lover for you. What is the Eternal Child for you in your own experience? The Offering, what's that? What does that mean for me? So you're going to create your personal experience with the archetypes. I would recommend you to not stick only with the book and relying only on in the book. The idea here is to understand how it makes sense for you. And of course, looking around the images, so we have here seed, but we have here like a little bit. It's not, but it almost feels like a sprout as well, right? So how, from all this idea of being overwhelmed, how can I find seeds and grow something better and grow wisdom from that, right? That's an idea of how you can work with this deck. So I hope that this video was able to help you to decide if you like this deck, which one you would like to add to your collection. If you have any questions, please leave in the comments down below. I'm going to answer all of them. Thank you for being here with me. I'll see you in the next video. Lots of love. Bye.